Hey, it's Joe Amoya, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com, and I got a question for you. If I had two doors, door number one over here and door number two over there, and behind both doors was a guy. Behind door number one was a companion, and behind door number two was a life partner. Which door would you choose? Well, if you're watching this, you might go, well, what's the difference? Is there really a difference? And there's a huge difference. And who you ultimately pick will ultimately determine if you have that awesome relationship you really want or an okay relationship. One that is, will work for you most of the time or some of the times, but will never give you the true feeling and experience you really want. So let me explain. See, what most of us do is because we're so wired to love and to be loved, we're so wired to share our lives with someone that we go for the companion. And in the beginning, it's a lot of fun. There's great sex, there's a lot of great time, we like the same music, right? And then ultimately we realize something's missing. But by that point, we're used to having that person in our life. And we're afraid to leave because we might not find another companion or we might not find a better companion. And compared to everybody else's companion, this guy's pretty good. So I might as well hold on to him. And that's a problem because it never leads to that awesome, great, amazing relationship you really want. Now, see, my recommendation is you go for the life partner. And that's the person who's not only a companion, but who's really someone who's suitable to help you get through this thing called life. I have to laugh when I see all these books and all these programs about, catching a guy or getting a guy. And my question always is, that's great, but what happens once you get him? Okay, once you catch him and once you snag him, what happens 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades down the road when you're in this thing called life together? See, that's one of the things that everybody's not talking about, and it's what we try and bring to the table here at GPS for Love. Once you get the guy and he gets you, there's this thing called life. How are you going to navigate? How are you going to work together? How are you going to be two individuals who are rowing in the same direction to make the journey and the experience as good as it can possibly be? See, what I believe is there are 3 major signs which differentiate between the companion and the life partner. And it's my recommendation that when you pick someone, you make sure he does all 3 of these things. Because if not, you'll have a guy, you'll have a relationship, but it'll never be the one you really want. So let's talk about number 1. See, the first step is that the guy realizes that you're a couple. Okay, so it's realization. And that is the fact that he knows that everything that he does affects you as a couple. There's not one choice, decision, or action he can take that will not affect you as his partner. Now, some of the guys out there think, well, I have to answer to somebody. That's a bunch of crap. Because when you're a couple, it's not about you having to answer to somebody. It's about you respecting your partner and realizing they're an integral part of your relationship, and that you don't ever want to do something that can potentially cause pain or heartache to your partner. So that's the first step. The second step that differentiates and helps you define a true partner is that when the guy knows when it's important to sacrifice. Okay, it's what I call unselfish sacrifice. See, when you're in a relationship with a partner, he realizes, there's times where I got to put myself on the back burner. I got to put my needs and my desires in the back seat to be there for my partner, to take care of my partner, to make sure that our life gets situated, our life gets fixed. Whatever we're dealing with gets resolved. Okay? Now, a man has no problem doing that. Okay? And again, that obviously works 2 ways. You as a partner need to do the same thing. There's going to be times where you need to put your needs, your desires on the back burner for your partner and the welfare of the relationship. So that's the second part. It's unselfish sacrifice. And the third, it's really simple, but as they say, common sense isn't necessarily so common, especially when it comes to relationships. The number 1 key that defines how good a partner is your ability to work together as a couple. There's this thing, and I've said it over and over and over again. There's this thing called life, and shit happens. But how you work together and how you deal with it will ultimately determine if you grow together and actually become stronger as a result of it, or you start to break apart and it divides you, and ultimately to that relationship collapses. I see it all the time. It amazes me when some couples get hit with tragedy, they get hit with hardship, and it actually brings them closer together and makes their relationship grow stronger and better. But yet other couples who go through almost the same exact thing will actually, it will cause their relationship to fall apart. So I want you to go back and I want you to watch this video. And I want you to really look at your relationship history and ask yourself, have you been going for the companion? Are you lonely? Let's face it, we all want someone special to share our lives with. But are you forgetting to focus on looking for that life partner? Because I promise you, if you start focusing on that and you start shooting for that, it'll be easy. It'll be so much easier to recognize the guy who does these things naturally. Now, I know some of you watching this go, yeah, but I've got to have chemistry. I've got to be attracted to this guy. Of course, there's got to be some chemistry. You've got to be attracted. Those are just two pieces of the puzzle. But you can't build your whole relationship on chemistry and on compatibility, the superficial compatibility. We're talking about real life compatibility where you work as a couple, you support each other, you love each other, you honor each other in a way that you're able to navigate the roads and the speed bumps in life. So I know this is one of those little bit, more serious videos, but I did this on purpose because, one of the things I see through the members of our GPS for Love community, there's so much focus, so much emphasis on finding the guy and having a relationship. And then they get the guy and they get the relationship and realize, but he's a schmuck. He's a horrible life partner. He's not responsible. He doesn't honor me. He doesn't respect me. He doesn't keep his agreements. All signs that he's a really crappy life partner. So hopefully this video will prepare you to understand that you got to go and you got to focus on finding that life partner. So as always, I want to hear from you. What has been your experience? Do you tend to go for the guys where you're just shooting for the companion? Are you having trouble finding that life partner? If so, post your question, comments, and feedback below. It's always an honor and privilege to be with you. I'll see you next time. Much love.